The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Great Britain signed an agreement with the British agency in 2020 in the amount of 10 million Libyans. This agency was supposed to look for influencers, political activists in the countries of Central and Eastern Europe, and to influence the activities in these countries. However, the member who was released speaks only about Slovakia, speaks only about the direction of social democracy, and speaks only about Robert Fitch, and speaks only about obedient Slovakia, that is, about progressive Slovakia, about no one else. So, what you write so often, that the Russian Federation is invading the will of other countries, without any proof, of course, you have on your table today. Our ally in the North Atlantic Alliance, our ally, financed Slovakia through an agency, a group of nominees and political activists, whose task it was in the parliamentary elections in 2023 to damage the opposite direction of Slovak social democracy and to help progressive Slovakia, which at that time had the Prime Minister, Mr. Odor, because in the last 10 months he was the Prime Minister of the government of the Slovak Republic. Mr. Odor, of progressive Slovakia. Ladies and gentlemen, this is simply such an important thing that it becomes a moment for us that we will all have to rely on our walls, and we will devote ourselves to it on a daily basis. Which of you made the headline when it comes to the information that one British agency, in cooperation with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the United Kingdom, financed Slovakia through a group of nominees and political activists, whose task it was in the parliamentary elections in 2023 to damage the opposite direction of Slovakia and to help progressive Slovakia? Let's turn it around now. Imagine that there was other information. There would be information that an agency connected to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation financed Slovakia through nominees and political activists in the parliamentary elections in 2023 to help the direction of Slovak social democracy and to damage progressive Slovakia. There is a well-known statement from a well-known portal called EU Observer, where one of the authors of this portal reacted primarily to our efforts regarding the 18th sanctioned barricade against the Russian Federation, and which we very intelligently connected with the so-called repowering, i.e., the suspension of the flow of Russian gas on the territory of the Slovak Republic and into the EU since 2028. You know that we won this battle because we have a binding position of the European Commission. The German Chancellor confirmed that the suspension of the flow of Russian gas is a huge problem. It is an objective problem in Slovakia, and that it will be the subject of the next European Council's ruling. But since we allowed ourselves to do things we didn't know, and we connected the 18th sanctioned barricade with another sanction, which was in the form of the suspension of the flow of Russian gas, we began to see exactly these comments, which have been here for 10 years, and because the direction of Slovak social democracy is already affecting the Slovak political scene for the third time in 10 years. It is already the 26th year. Therefore, at the beginning, I would like to quote the EU Observer, which speaks in connection with the 18th sanctioned barricade, since we have decided to veto it, and we have vetoed it about 6 or 7 times. This speaks about Slovakia and the Slovak government. Instead of giving them anything that they offered us, the Slovak government, you should rather take everything from them, and at the same time you will take anything that is possible. Frozen, financial, means violations of judicial disputes, audits, public violations, boycotts. Once again, EU Observer offers this as a recipe against a country that has a sovereign name. Public violations, boycotts, audits, judicial disputes, frozen financial means. What is even more important is to get your justice services to work and give the Hungarian, Slovak, and European journalists the hard truth. The hard truth was to be proven by the fact that they will write about us all kinds of dirtiness that exist. This was in connection with the 18th sanctioned barricade, and this atmosphere, ladies and gentlemen, we have no doubt that this atmosphere was counter-directional, even in 2020-2023, when we were in the opposition. We are talking about the direction of Slovak social democracy in the opposition in 2020-2023. In the opposition, when we were being shut down, someone was sitting there, innocently for a year or so. Other people were arrested, and despite the fact that we were the opposition in Slovakia, it was necessary to develop activities at the international level that were supposed to harm the direction of Slovak social democracy, and were supposed to help the progressive Slovakia that we call today the obedient Slovakia. We can say today, even after what the EU observer said from the point of view of our sovereign positions in the 18th sanctioned barricade, that there is an intentional act of foreign power that is our ally in NATO, in cooperation with part of the Slovak journalists and part of the Slovak political influencers to influence the elections in 2023. The point is an indisputable fact. We have carefully read what the spokesman for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Great Britain said. He did not deny anything. He just said that they will fight for democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. He did not say that there is no such thing as an agentura zinc. He did not say that there is no agreement between this agency and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Great Britain and about 10 million euros or Libyans that will be used for this. And of course, he did not say anything about the fact that the agreements signed by these journalists and political activists in Slovakia were signed by a member who forbids these journalists and political activists to inform about it. So our Slovak journalists, our Slovak political activists, with foreign power, with Great Britain signed agreements through the agentura zinc in this particular case. It is unbelievable that they decided that they will not talk about this in any case. And to make it even more unbelievable, what they wrote about Slovakia against the direction had to be approved by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Great Britain. So if someone wrote against the direction of Slovak social democracy in the elections in 2023 and sent some articles to Robert Fico for the money he received from the agentura zinc for 10 million Libyans, he had to have it approved by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Great Britain. You did not write a single article about this. Not a single article. None of you. If the Russian Federation supported the direction, what would happen in Slovakia today? What articles would you write? So I want to repeat it once again. The Union of the Slovak Republic in the North Atlantic Alliance, Great Britain in the parliamentary elections in 2023 paid through the agentura zinc to Slovak journalists and political activists to influence the elections in favor of the direction of the opposition and in favor of progressive Slovakia. Then it would be clear what kind of product we have, just like Mrs. Chaputova. It is the same. Artificial inventive product that is exactly financed from Western countries.